All right, well, everybody got quiet, so that means it must be time to start. It is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here with us this evening. This is the City Council regular meeting for August the 18th, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Brian Mock,
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Paul Stovall,
Here.
Councilmember Jimmy First, Councilmember John Mesa,
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Robson, Councilmember Elmer Vythe.
All right, we are down a couple this evening. Folks are traveling out of town, but we'll try to get through this. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see, who can I pick on?
The other night. Come up to the back.
There you go. See?
Oh, yeah, good.
If you come twice, you got to work.
We're gonna break it down. Just start it, we'll follow right behind.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for doing that for us. If I could get somebody to approve the agenda.
Mayor, would like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. All right, under announcements and presentations this evening, we have our Lifeline Animal Showcase. And we have Wacy Daisy, is that right? Did I say? AC Wacy. I was close. Wacy Daisy, AC Wacy.
This is his first council meeting, so he's
I
a little
love
bit
it.
nervous.
We all had a first council meeting at some point.
So this is my friend AC Wacy. He's one of my favorite dogs. He's just extremely affectionate, which is why I love him. So he's super dog friendly. He's in play group twice a week with all of his doggy friends. But when he comes in a play group, he just wants to give the people hugs. So he'll just jump up on your hip and just look at you, and you just pet him the whole time, and that's all he really wants. He's around 2 years old and 58 pounds. He is heartworm positive, but that's not contagious to you or your pets, and the shelter will cover treatment free of charge. The shelter environment is just too stressful for treatment to be safe because it puts too much strain on the heart, so we can't treat until the dog is in a home. He's been at the shelter since June 2nd, so 2 months. He is struggling at the shelter, so when I went to get him out for this event, he was just crying in his kennel, breaks your heart, but I love him dearly. He's a great dog. If you're interested in fostering or adopting, he's available. When I left the shelter to come here, we had 513 dogs physically in our building, and that is 38 dogs over our humane capacity goal. So any dog out by 7 p.m. tonight helps us get closer to that goal, and even short-term foster. So we do a 2-night weekend warrior foster, and that's really helpful because this is AC Wacy's first time leaving the shelter. So obviously it's really good for him, and we get cute pictures, good notes, so it's a really great way to help out. August is Clear the Shelters, so that is a nationwide event that a lot of shelters do take part in, ours included. So our Clear the Shelter goal is to have 2,000 adoptions across all 3 Lifeline locations in the month of August. So adoptions this month are only $25, and then on Tuesdays, because that's when we do our humane capacity count, adoptions are free. And then at the end of this month, so August 27th through 31st, adoptions are free that weekend as well. And then lastly, we have a really fun event coming up that's going to be at our Lifeline Community Animal Center. So it's not the location in Chamblee, but it's only about 10 minutes away. And basically it's called Meant to Meet. So participants will be in a room, we'll bring a dog in, and we're actually going to let the dog pick you. So we're just going to see who the dog has a connection with. You can do dog for the day with that dog, you can do weekend warrior, you can adopt, it's whatever you're comfortable with. But that's going to be a really fun event on August 30th. You register on our website. So we just have a couple weeks until that. But again, this is AC Wacy. His name is AC Wace actually, but I call him AC Wacy. And he's 2 years old, and he would love to go home with any of you guys. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, glad to have you here with us, and glad to give AC Wacy an evening out of the shelter. Lifeline Animal Showcase is right up the street from us here, just around the corner. As you heard, there are about 40 dogs over capacity this evening. So if you can foster or you want to take home a new friend for life, please go by the animal shelter over there and take someone home. We do this every Tuesday council meeting. So far, we've had some really good results with getting some of these pets adopted. People see them on live stream and other venues, and we've had some pretty good results. But our goal is, of course, clear the shelter and give these pets a proper home. I guarantee you. My dog was a shelter dog, and he was an amazing dog to have. So. Yeah. Thank you for being here, AC Wacy. All right. Under announcements and presentations, we also have our FY 2025 audit report. So we've got some good news on the audit.
Good evening, Julie Piro, Finance Director. Mayor and Council, I'm here to introduce our auditor here from Moulton and Jenkins to present you the FY 2025 final results.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Thank you, Julie. So my name is Will Durzis. I'm a director with Malden and Jenkins, here to present on the city's 2025 fiscal year and audit results. My presentation this evening is based off of this packet, which we call the Auditor's Discussion and Analysis. All right, so without further ado, I'll jump in. On the second slide, or second page, you can read up on a brief synopsis of Malden Jenkins, who we are, some of the other governments that we serve, and just a profile of our office as a whole. The engagement team for this year's audit included myself and Meredith Lipson. Okay, so I'm pleased to share we did issue an unmodified or clean opinion on the basic financial statements, and that means that the statements are considered to reasonably or materially report and present the results of the 2025 fiscal year. Our objective as external auditors is to provide reasonable but not absolute assurance on the basic statements. Included within the city's report are two compliance reports, one required to be issued under the Yellow Book standards or under government auditing standards, which is called the Yellow Book. That applies for all cities, counties, municipalities within the state of Georgia. And in addition, the city, as a result of spending over $1 million of federal awards during 2025, required a single audit or single audit of a major federal program, which this year was the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds. Some of the other audit procedures the things that we do include confirming outstanding receivables, vouching additions of capital assets, infrastructure, equipment, construction in progress, as well as retainage on those assets, and then performing a search for any unrecorded outstanding liabilities that may have not been recorded by management. A few other required communications that I'm required to communicate to you all charged with governance, and that is management is ultimately responsible for selection and use of appropriate accounting policies, as well as estimates that are inherent and embedded within the financial statements, including useful lives of capital assets, things like that, maybe items related to the city's pension. Upon conclusion of our audit, we did request certain written representations from management concerning the accuracy of the information that was presented in the statements and the completeness of that information. We received those representations with no issue. We're not aware of any other arrangements that management has with other accountants or CPAs regarding application of any accounting or audit standards. We had no disagreements with management or any issues regarding financial reporting. There were some audit adjustments proposed and posted to the city's ledger during the year. We had no past adjustments, meaning that all proposed journal entries were posted and recorded to the general ledger. And then most importantly, in accordance with accounting standards issued by the AICPA and other governing bodies, Malden and Jenkins, we are independent with regard to the city as well as its related organizations. A few financial trends I'll touch on that are in graphic formats. So this is a financial trend comparing fund balance or equity of the city's general fund as well as its other governmental funds. You can see the general fund being relatively steady and slightly above in most years compared to the other governmental funds. That was slightly differed in 2025 as a result of the new bond issuance, which created a significant ending fund balance for the capital projects fund of the city. Another trend, the general fund ratio of fund balance relative to its expenditures. So as you can see, there's been a tail or a little bit of a dip from 2021 down through 2025. At 44%, that is still considered healthy by industry standards. So it's not a cause for concern, but is something that the city, along with pretty much every other municipality and every city that at least I work on in the state of Georgia, has experienced, and that is a declining general fund balance. Revenues of the general fund have increased over the past 3 years, but have been slightly outpaced by expenditures, probably some other financing uses of general fund money as well. And so fund balance has gone from about 17 million down to about 14 million at the end, or from 17 million from the end of 2023 down to about 14 at the end of 2025. And again, that's a very common theme throughout the state. Some other financial trends, the stormwater operations have resulted in some income in the past several years. Sanitation steadily has reported income loss over the past 5 years. That again is very, very common given the number of expenses required and operational requirements for sanitation service. So I'm pleased to share we had no audit findings, that is to say no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses were encountered for both the financial reporting as well as for testing of the single audit. We did have one management recommendation concerning capital asset disposals in which the city, in which management had recorded disposal of a stormwater vehicle within the sanitation fund, so more or less a clerical or misclassification that did require an adjustment. The net book value of that adjustment was relatively small and therefore was not a finding, but just a recommendation for management. And then I'm not going to go through the rest of everything, but you're free to look through the remainder of the packet. Some of the other services Malden and Jenkins offers, governmental advisory, IT, cybersecurity. As your consultants start to look at retirement down the line, as finance director may look to retire in the future, we do recommend having a succession plan in place to continue smooth sailing of the city's finance department. With that said, that concludes my presentation for this evening, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Yes, sir. Any questions from council? No? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julie, for keeping us clean, and don't worry, we're not going to let Julie retire. All right. Under approval of the minutes this evening, we have 4 sets of minutes.
Motion to approve the City Council Public Hearing Work Session, July 16th, City Council Retreat Workshop, July 17th, City Council Retreat Workshop, July 18th, and City Council Regular Meeting, July 21st, as submitted.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the 4 sets of minutes as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. All right, that takes us down to new business. First up, we have the Pierce Drive Parking Maintenance and Use Agreement.
There's my thing. Motion to approve as submitted.
All right, have a motion.
Sorry.
A motion and a second to approve the Pierce Drive parking maintenance use agreement as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. The Wood Acres Nature Preserve Notice of Award.
Motion to approve the notice of award for the construction of Wood Acres Nature Preserve to Surfaces Group LLC for a cost not to exceed $800,000.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve this award to Surfaces Group not to exceed $800,000. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. Under staff action items, we have 1983 Elwyn Drive.
Motion to approve the variance request from Section 230-1A to reduce the setback on the side yard from 7.5 feet to 4.3 feet as recommended by staff.
Second.
This is a motion to approve as recommended by staff. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. 3669 North Peachtree Road.
A motion to defer this item to the September meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to defer this item to the September meeting cycle. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. 2137 Dowdell. Did I say it right, Leslie?
You did
Down,
almost.
That almost.
Motion to approve variance requests 1 and 2, subject to the following conditions. No chain link fencing shall remain along Hood Avenue in the areas of the lot where the wooden privacy fence was replaced. The existing chain link fence located parallel to the wooden privacy fence shall be removed within 30 days of this variance approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve with conditions as stated by Councilmember Stovall. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous.
All right,
4997 Buford Highway.
motion to defer this item to the October meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to defer 4997 Buford Highway to the October meeting cycle. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out this one's October because we have to repost it for public input again, and that just takes a little longer. That is all.
Very good. Anything else? All in favor? That is unanimous. 5295 New Peachtree Road.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to defer this item until the September meeting cycle.
Second.
A motion and a second to defer this item to the September meeting cycle. Any further discussion?
Yeah, Kristen, were we contacted by the applicant to defer this, to push this out? This mic is hot. Okay, we were not. All right, then, so I know where this is going, but this applicant has brought to us a valid variance request that is similar to variances we've granted of this kind in the past. It is a simple dumpster enclosure. No other party spoke up in public during the meeting, and I received no submitted official application for any opposition or any notice. Granting this variance allows them to proceed with the work as they need to go without incurring them extra cost, and allows them time to come up with an alternate arrangement with the neighboring property. It does not rule that out. Deferring to me feels like the city is requiring the applicant to satisfy the desires of a neighboring property that will not be impacted by this dumpster location. It increases costs for them because they have to pay staff to come back in a month to come before this council again. Staff also found extraordinary and exceptional conditions to this site, preventing them from putting the dumpster in any other location. Staff also stated that relief, if granted, would not be detrimental to the public good or contrary to the intent of the zoning ordinance. So I don't think we should do this. I think we should vote on this today, but I only get one vote.
Are you making a substitute motion?
If it's going to go, it's going to go. No, if it's going to go that way, it's going to go that way.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a motion and a second then. All in favor? 2 opposed? 1. Motion carries. All right. We have 6,000 Peachtree Road.
Motion to deny waiver 3 as recommended by staff and approve waivers 1 and 2 with the following condition: the development shall be constructed in general conformity with a conceptual site plan received by the Planning and Development Department on June 19, 2026, as revised to reflect denied variances and waivers and subject to any additional revisions required by the conditions of approval or the requirements of the UDO as reviewed and approved by the Planning and Development Director.
Second.
All right. Have a motion to deny waiver 3 and approve waivers 1 and 2 as stated by Councilmember Robson. Any further discussion on that?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that the battery issue, question that I had on Thursday, I had time to review that, and that was not an issue. It was, the batteries are located per unit, not as a system as a whole. So just wanted to clarify that.
Got it. Any other discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. Approval of a grant funding for mural.
Motion to approve the grant funding, mural concept, and artist selection for 3460 Chambly Dunwoody Way, also known as Wild Aster Books, as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this grant funding as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is unanimous. Have staff recommendation to fill the seat on the PAC.
Motion to appoint Jada Hill to the Public Arts Commission. Hope I said her name right.
A motion and a second to appoint Jada Hill to the Public Arts Commission. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, I believe that takes care of everything that we have on the agenda, but I believe we do have an executive session this evening. Is that right? Yes.
Excuse me, Mayor, it looks like there's a misprint on the agenda. We forgot to add public comment, so.
Oh, my goodness, wow. How did we do that?
Do we have to reapprove the agenda? We have to add an item? What do we have to do? Or can we just get out of this easy? Nope. All right, motion to amend the agenda to add a public comment section.
A motion and a second to amend the agenda to add public comments. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, that is unanimous.
No wonder I was so confused.
All right, I don't have the rules in front of me for public comments, but I can tell you, you get 3 minutes. So if you got anything you want to say, come on up to the microphone, and we'll allow you to speak at this time.
We may have an improved buzzer performance tonight, too.
Improved buzzer
We'll see.
performance? Okay.
No pressure.
Anybody wishing to address council, come on up.
It's not a, it's a, he's going to ask a question.
Good evening.
Present. I'm in the project for the dumpster in the church. We did try to have a talk with the owner of the college, but we had some incidents in the past that we don't want to go down the road again, and we would like the dumpsters to be on our property instead of their property, because we can get into some conflicts down the road in the future, and we just want to have peace. We don't want to have any misunderstanding for the future. And if, I don't know if that'll help, but we're just trying to get this dumpster, because once the dumpster is enclosed, the dumpster is not going to be visible to the public. That's the purpose of the enclosure of the dumpster. Because by us trying to put it on their property, they'll probably want us to enclose their dumpster as well, because their dumpster is open to the public as well. So I understand what they're trying to get, but we don't want to really get the dumpster on the property, and then later we have to pay some rent, maybe, because of the use. And it's pretty much putting another dime on our budget to try to get it to the property and more expenses. And we would like to just kind of keep it in our property if that will be possible. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to address council this evening? Come on up.
Hello. I just wanted to make sure, is someone going to follow up with me from the city and explain what defer means and what I need to do between now and the next time? Okay, great, thank you.
Else wishing to address council this evening? All right, seeing no one else, I'd entertain a motion to enter executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session.
Second.
Motion and second to enter executive session for the trifecta. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. We will be back.
apparently. Well, all right. We waiting on Kristen, or are we going to not wait on Kristen? Mr. Mayor, I'd like to motion to exit executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second to exit executive session. All in favor? That is unanimous.
Better be.
Need a motion to leave this building.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second.
And a third.
Who's seconding?
That was the second, because I
Oh,
said
I
it
was the
first.
second.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor? All right, we are adjourned.
Have you seen your picture on the interstate, on Peachtree Boulevard?